peace, Chung. We're live.
Coming on right now, or whether you come on later and hear my words. There's no time where I am, so I greet you in the all in one, in the presence divine. Can you feel it? How clear are you today? Days differ, don't they? Like the weather. Some days you can really feel it. How do you feel today, right now? What sort of day are you having? Or perhaps you are in your evening, perhaps you're in your morning. How does it feel to you upon the earth? Because there is a lot going on, isn't there? There is the great challenge of the dark going on. Those beings who think they could possibly outmaneuver God, goddess. You have to say it's quite funny, but perhaps it doesn't look funny when you're, in a sense, that which is being made fun of. When you realize you've been manipulated by a force that is not a divine force, then you don't feel so amused. So you have to be careful and understand, what is the divine presence? How are you going to know to what extent that divine presence is inside you? How do you know that? Well, it's really quite simple, isn't it? It's when you feel strong, invincible, invulnerable, and you are emanating light, and you're very clear and sure of yourself, and you feel the joy. So if you just breathe deeply and realize, yes, it is a practice to feel the joy. You know, sometimes you just don't. You just feel the rage. You feel outraged by some of what you see happening in your world today. And that is authentic. That is true. That is real. And you have got to move that with your breathing. You got to move that with your consciousness, with your will, with your intention. That you cannot be a victim if you are going to be a conduit of divine presence. When you get to that feeling of anger, of disempowerment, of, outrage, when you look at what you see and you're concerned for the children, for the old people, for the weak and vulnerable, you have to honor it. You can't just say, oh, well, no, I just want to feel the divine presence. I'm not gonna let that feeling proliferate. Well, actually, when you're in consciousness, when you are holding a container that's really strong, maybe you have your shungite there and all your crystals, and you're very conscious that you're angry, that you feel devastated for the harm that is being done to people, children, especially the elderly, the weak and infirm. When you realize, I am outraged, I am beyond angry, I really want this to stop. I want the harm to stop. I want the abuse to stop. If I could be, Archangel Michael with my avenging sword, and other things that you might say, you might do with that sword, in those with those dark and in that sense uncaring, completely beings who are operating some of your social, political and financial power structures. But you have to understand that you've chosen to be here at this time, and that your way is the way of the warrior of the light. And that matters. It matters that you understand that about yourself. All of you who come to listen to Chung Fu, you're drawn along that particular ray of light that wants to work in the beauty way, wants to bring God, Goddess presence, wants to lift up all the time, wants to help people understand their potential, their brilliance, their beauty, the compassion that is within them, wants to help people love and feel the love, feel the divine presence. And so constantly every day at the moment, you are challenged, whether that is with a kind of depressing, downgrading type of government edicts and and depending what country you're in, the obvious callousness and and lack of love coming towards you in so many ways in your life. The actually out and out attack that you can sometimes feel on your mindset, your emotional body, and your physical person. Watching the children, getting very confused, upset, imbalanced, both mentally and emotionally, understanding how much devastation has been caused within your societies. And so, can you feel the divine presence? This is an important question at all times of day or night. What does it feel like? How do you know that these beings, these creator beings, God, Goddess, and that which is invisible, which is the universal one, how can you know that you're standing in the blessed light of this divine presence? What are the signs? How do you check in with yourself to know, oh, well, actually, I'm slightly off and the beam is kind of there. Oh, someone else is getting that nice divine presence beam, and I seem to be kind of a bit out of alignment. So, what does that mean? Well, that insight that you see someone else is happy, they seem to be oblivious about everything, they're just having a wonderful day, and you realize, well, I seem to be carrying the load today. Is that just how it is, or can I change that? You can change it instantly. You have to understand that you are the conduit of divine presence. There isn't anyone else that relates for your life that is significant. Yes, Chung Fu can bring you some knowledge and information and some tools, some practices, but what it's about is you getting into connection. That is the aim of Chung Fu's work, is for you to be able to both do it, lead it, repeat it, do it again, and it's never done forever. You see, because you live in time and space, and every second, everything is coming back to the now, all the time. So though you can build, practices, you can work on your body, heart, mind, you can build strengths. In a sense, it's a bit like being an athlete. If you stop, you lose fitness straight away. Your muscle goes to blubber. And in that sense, you have to understand, when you're a creator being, when you are determined to make a different world here on earth, when you're somebody who sees through all the negativity and wants to bring almost revolution as well as evolution, then you have to realize it's every day, all day. You don't get to switch off your rainbow warrior self, or your light warrior self, or your connection with the divine. It's not a sort of on-off switch. It is, can you feel the divine presence? And if you can you stay in that resonant range, in that field of availability? Can you keep yourself on a steady path? Can you understand your own psyche, never lie to yourself, but also own it all so that it's safe, so that none of these piranha, hungry, dark souls can come along and slip under your unguarded doorway and steal some of your light? Or are you in total ownership and possession of your being, and you're in compassion and kindness towards yourself, and you are able to monitor and know when some of that stealing has happened? Either you've had some of your positivity somehow siphoned off, or you've leaked some of your confidence, you've fallen a little bit in that sense into some negativity. So it's really important that you understand yourself very well in regards to, how does it feel when you are inside the golden rays and the field of divine presence? It's you. It's you bringing that in. It's not, oh, please, God, please. Oh, no. I call and I command and I bring here divine presence. I am divine presence. I am the vessel. That is all I can really do is affirm that I am the vessel. But that affirmation is everything. I am the vessel of the divine presence. And and when that presence comes in and you really can feel it, you feel good. You feel strong. You feel invincible because you're not attached anymore to outcomes. You are being very creative, you know, when you are in that higher self aligned mode. Basically you can dream up anything. You can, you know, your creative power is top notch in that state of mind, that total positivity, where, you know, the world is your canvas, if you like. You know, you could bring anything forward that you feel to create. And when you are in that mode, that's exactly what you have within you. You have that unbeatable positivity. You have that irrepressible joy. You have that unconditional love. Can you feel all those words that take limitation off everything? You have the potential of the brilliance of all your colors, of all the levels of you that can come in and literally be divine presence in your life. So again, just working with you here gently, just notice inside yourself right now, as you breathe, how you're feeling. You feeling positive about everything? Are you feeling very worried and negative about some things? What's the balance? Have you got more positivity than perhaps a little niggling sense of irritation or something you didn't like in your day or in your experience, or something that's just niggling away there, or worry and anxiety? Can you feel the divine presence? Because if you can, come over there in your feeling and open your arms wide and embrace that small human self that says, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this next bit. It's all looking very, very strange and different, and I'm not feeling secure. And feel yourself, almost allow yourself in that part of yourself to be lifted up into this incredible domain of light, and just immersed in light, almost as though you would just lay there sunbathing in glorious divine light. And all that doubt, fear, all the uncertainty, just allow it to come off you like a steam, just going up into that radiant sunlight. And breathe and let go. Realizing that that's right, your human mind, your brain, with all the facts that are being bombarded at you, oh, that's going to get more difficult. It's all going to get much harder. Oh, and feel a weight of what, you know, is coming at you from all sides. And just say the opposite, and just say, my life is getting better and better all the time. All the weights upon me are dissolving. I am just laying and basking in the solar light, in the divine source. I am strong. I can do anything because I am light. I am the divine presence that pours into me from the source of my being, that is fluid and ever-changing, that can create whatever is needed for my survival and the survival of my beloveds, and for the thriving of all of life that we create together. And feel yourself as part of a community, even if right now, perhaps you can't think of who that might be, but that's all right. It's all evolving. That's why you're here on earth, to have this incredible adventure of creativity, transformation, of education and evolution, of discovery. Just because you didn't do something yet absolutely does not mean you're not going to be doing it now. Allowing yourself to get inspired to walk the high path of beauty, truth, love, compassion, forgiveness, kindness, and joy. I choose to walk inside the divine emanations. I choose to walk within divine presence at all times. I give all and any old negativities into the light, into the solar fire, and see it consumed and transformed and returned as pure light to my heart. I give thanks for all opportunities to evolve in the face of challenge, to find my shadows, my fears, my pain, or anything that is in the way right now of me experiencing the truth of divine presence in every moment. I give thanks for these opportunities to identify what is blocking me, where I'm afraid, where I feel limited, where I perhaps feel even shut down and stopped altogether. I breathe into those places of difficulty my divine power of love. I feel the love dissolving the fear within my being. I breathe in divine, unconditional love, pouring into any small places of limitation, dissolving fear within my being. The most important relationship in my life is my relationship with divine creator source that I reach within me at the highest level of my consciousness. I give thanks for this life, for this journey, and this opportunity for my soul to grow, to evolve, and for my higher self to bring me the experience of living in divine presence at all times. Blessings and peace, dear ones.
Blessings and peace. So yeah, just I've got a question here. Just finding the question. Josh Nedlinger asks, do you know if Chung Fu ever suggested drinking bone broth?
Ah, yes, well, bone broth is a very ancient remedy. Obviously, for those of you who don't want to consume any animal products, it can be, a philosophical problem there. The bone broth has a lot of deeply healing properties because the bone marrow contains the life force and it is very powerful in the restoration, the creation of cells, actual structuring and rebuilding, um, particularly of the cells of the blood and of the cells within the bones, within the marrow. And so this is um, a very old remedy. Some people even call it an old wise remedy because it was passed around, especially in times of war and difficulty, where people had to get the most nutrition they could get out of whatever small amount of food they had, and so it circled very widely the great healing properties of bone broth. Peace, beloved.
Carissa asks, I may have asked this last time, but I don't remember. I think I may not have had time to ask. Chung Fu, I wish to build on the daily meditation group with the Chung Fu community online, as well as a women's meditation group where I am locally. I also feel the call for continuing on the Rhiannon training and planting trees with shungite and ongoing grid activations. Also, could I ask about this? I came across someone who emphasized the significance of clearing, cleansing our bodies and our space as best as we can. Um, this having to do with entities, darkness, activity, things like this. Is that something you agree with? Could you expand at all? Love and blessings.
All right, beloved. Well, there's quite a lot there. I'm just going to really go backwards and perhaps ask Jerome to remind me of what else you have said. So I'm going to talk about clearing. When you are connected to the divine, when you do your chakra opening practice, you align yourself to earth and your crown center and beyond, and you illuminate your field, and you do all the work that we suggest in chakra opening and affirmation, calling in guides and helpers, angelic beings. You have done a lot of clearing by the time you got to the end of that practice. In terms of more precise, targeted, clearing where perhaps something has happened in your locality, perhaps there's been some violence or some confrontations, or perhaps there have been a spate of deaths, and you can kind of feel an ominous presence in the environment. Then if that is something you pick up and you receive a directive, then of course it becomes important to follow that through, perhaps to help people who don't work the way you do, to some extent. Though I would not really advise taking it on, permanently as a way of life, because you really will be in endless demand, and that's something that need to understand well. The clearing of entities that become earthbound and attached to places, and also, of course, are able to attach to human beings, to the astral body. It's a bit like, if a person is not aware of what it feels like to be clean, somebody who lives in the jungle, they don't take baths maybe or something like that, and they don't mind. Their body sort of works it out, and but if you wish to really cleanse deeply the body, heart, and the mind, then yes, there need to be specific practices. And those entities that attach, they attach because of something in you. There's always a responsibility in the host. So if you find that there are entities in a situation, they are negative entities, really affecting badly the health of the beings there, the most important thing is to track who is letting those entities in. Whose property is it, or who's in ownership in that place? It's the first question. They will have something to do with it. On the other hand, there may be someone else dominating them, so that they aren't really properly in control. And on the other hand, nor is the other person who is more interested in dominating, the owner. And so you've got a situation really where the back and front doors are kind of swinging open, and there's negative energy on the table, if you like, in the living area, because no one's really owning the truth of what's going on. So at that point, that's when entities come in. It's always following the law of attraction. It's always following the spiritual law. And once you understand where is the center of those negative, where are they drawn to, then you work with that person first. You help them do the Ho'oponopono, and you do some ceremony with that person first for them to tie cut, to clear their field. It's always a human host who lets the entities in at that central point. Once you understand that, you start to unravel all the ways in which there are knotted relationships and negative situations there that again allow the negative energies in. If you've done that simple work, and you'll find that will improve the situation greatly. By the time everyone is more conscious and taking responsibility, then it's time that you could do a ritual, a clearing of the space with the proper collaboration and taking up responsibility of those who are in ownership of the space. Peace, beloved.
Wow, that's quite an answer. Yes, so on that note, Chung Fu mentioned the tie cutting. We are doing a telesummit show coming up very soon, where we are going to be offering a short tie cutting course. So do make sure you come and get involved with that beautiful telesummit broadcast when that happens. And also, I know many of you on here have already gone and loved up my Ho'oponopono meditation prayer on my channel, J Rocker Sacred Sound. But if you haven't, do go and give it a play and give my channel a little subscribe and help me grow the sound side of things. That would be wonderful. And if you're new to this Chung Fu broadcast on the Chung Fu channel just now, and you haven't subscribed, do go and give the Chung Fu channel a little subscribe if you want to get those notifications about all our upcoming transmissions on the Chung Fu channel. Okay, we have a couple more questions here. We'll just do 2 more questions. Anna Joy says, I am stuck in anger. I don't know how to let it pass through me. Do we just let the divine love work it out for us? Thank you.
Well, that is actually what's happening. The divine love is who you are, and you're working it out. But, when it comes to anger, you need to find the cause within yourself. Just literally own it, speak it out, try to express it, try to really discover what's going on. Which part of you is angry? Remember, you're a multidimensional being. Not all of you is angry. Some of you is looking at laughing. Part of you is completely free. Doesn't feel any limitation at all. You're pure spirit, pure light. You know all the truths. But you're feeling trapped. You're feeling something that's disempowering you, because anger is always a sign that there's a hurt place underneath or a trapped place underneath. You want to break out. You want to let that energy. It's the energy underneath the anger. The anger is just a kind of layer, in a way, to protect you, because when you're angry, you're a bit scary. No one's going to come and prod you again or hurt you again when you're angry. Angry is healthy. Angry means I'm looking after myself. Anger is where you growl, and you don't you dare hurt me again. Back off. It's a type of self-protection. So once you realize that, then the questions you have to ask yourself are, so what am I protecting? What am I upset about? What's underneath the anger? And if you can actually find something very specific, that's good. There's always something, and often it's buried. It's really quite deep. And if you're sensitive and you're an artist, you're somebody who loves to express, well, you don't want to suppress it. So that's right. Find whatever way you can to run it, and understand you're not going to be, dangerously attracting any entities or negative energies when you own your anger. When you know it and you own it and you speak it, basically you're creating a safety for yourself. You're holding it. You might make a fire. You can throw it into the fire, make sound, make noise. You can drum. You can play music. You can express it, and eventually it will move. But it is got to move. Don't sort of go, oh, great divine one, just melt all this anger. No. Be the anger, walk the anger, talk the anger, and then the anger will reveal what's underneath it. You might end up in tears. You might end up in absolute fuming outrage as it gets worse and worse until it just burns up and leaves you until you just realize, wait a minute, I don't need this anger anymore. I'm done with it. And you will come to a point where you're done with it, but not till you're done with it. Peace, beloved.
Lovely answer. Whew, love it. Yeah, I mean, the Rainbow Warriors course, Chung Fu's epic course, is quite an incredible journey for uprooting and getting that primal energy moving. So do explore the Shorby link that I was putting in most of the videos prior to starting these lives. But I'm gonna start copying those Shorby links back in. The Shorby link will take you to a very cute little page where all of Chung Fu's courses are readily available right there, at a super affordable price as well. So that's
The thing
kind
is
of
to remember your life is a journey. And I have supplied here some little, mini adventures, if you like, where we help you to dig in. Because the problem about spiritual growth and evolution is that you're so distracted by what's out there. And this is, you've come to earth to create what's out there, and that's wonderful. But you can only create from a place of personal power. And so the trick is not to get so distracted that you don't know how to journey inside. And that is what my courses are all about for you, all the ways that you can get in touch with the truth and the authenticity of your own being, because that's the only power that's going to create prosperity for you. It's going to enable you to produce the truth of who you are. It's going to help you evolve. You have to know yourself and be able to journey and see what's inside you. You are your one and only most important study, self-realization. That is where it all begins. Your awareness and your consciousness and your ownership and responsibility is the very ground that you walk on. Without doing some of those journeys and exploring your being in a very psychic and empathic way, you can't create that kind of strength that you need to become the creator that you truly are. Peace.
peace. And we have last question here. Dervor asks, it was Bridget's day recently.
Yes.
Can you speak more about what energy she is bringing through at this time? Thank you.
Well, can't you feel it, beloved? I mean, she is the fierce maiden. She is the one who stands up and who is not afraid. She is the vanquisher of fear. In that sense, she comes after the cold of winter, where everything is frozen down, but she is the fire. She is that fire that comes through the ice. In many senses, she is very related to, the ice winter queen, but she is the fire that can come up through the ice and show her beautiful, her snowdrops, those first pure signs of the life that is within the earth. She is life burgeoning back up. She does not take no for an answer. You can cover me in snow. I'm alive in here. Watch me. I'm forging the new life. I'm forging the new start for you all. And so Bridget here, she is the gateway to the new world, the new creation. She is goddess creatrix, young, always young in that sense. She's the young archetype that brings through new ideas, new inspirations. She is renewing you, Bridget's energy. And she's also the crown. She's also, the mother. She is all things, but I choose to really feel her right now as that reappearing, unstoppable emergence and push through of the life force, of the fiery power, the passion of creation, of creativity. She's so creative. She, as you know, she's an artist. She's a poet, and she is a, the forge mistress. So she works with the forge. She smelts metal. She is a, she makes armoring. She is also sword maiden in that sense. She cuts through the ice as well and makes space for new life to grow within. There's so much to say about all goddesses, beloved, that she is goddess. She has been known as a real being, but she has, in that sense, ascended into that archetypal presence. And of course, she is so much beloved of the people of Ireland. She is, in that sense, you know, your goddess, goddess of the land, of the fire, and also she has her wells and her springs, and she is, of course, that crisp, beautiful spring air. She is all the elements. She is, the returning hope of life itself. Peace.
Well, thank you so much for coming and being with us today. Any questions coming in now, do bring them in for next week and I'll ask them then. If you haven't joined the Students of Chung Fu Facebook group, we are growing that group as a place for you all to speak to each other, get to know each other. I'm doing my best trying to kind of keep the group, and I've made a fair few mistakes with the group already, but this is life, and we are learning. I'm learning how to hold the group, and in an easeful way, make it a place that people can enjoy to come and hang out, and where we can learn from each other as well. So yeah, come and be involved if that feels like that would be something you'd like to do. Thank you so much for coming and being with us today, the Chung Fu family, and with Chung Fu, and all of yourselves as well. Great love.
Great love and blessings and peace.
Bye for now.
Farewell.
Farewell.